Hello, class. Today I will be discussing Native Americans as clients and some of the issues that they face in today's society. So, in the United States, there are over 500 different Native American tribes recognized by the U.S. government. Many of these tribes live on reservations, and despite this, Native Americans face many issues. So in 2018, the U.S. Commission of Civil Rights found that Native Americans ranked towards the bottom in terms of unemployment, health care, and education. The Department of Justice found that Native American women are sadly at a very high risk for experiencing both possible physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. So these are just many of the issues that Native Americans face, and Native American women in particular are at a much higher risk. And if I were a counselor, I think the best therapy that I could use is something like person-centered therapy, founded by Carl Rogers. This therapy focuses on the client knowing what is best for themselves and allowing the client to speak and be heard. And I, as a counselor, may not need to give thoughts on the matter. I think this could be very important for Native Americans in particular, because for most of their history, they have often perhaps been misheard or not heard at all. And I think that's something that should be at the center of a counselor's mind when working with Native Americans clients. Now, an issue that I can face as a counselor while working with Native Americans is that I may not relate to their struggles. Obviously, everyone's struggles would be different, but I think that for Native Americans in particular, their struggles are particularly unique. As stated previously, they often live on reservations, and reservations, for those who don't know, are by definition sovereign nations, meaning that it is not within the United States jurisdiction. So, in a way, it would be working with someone from an entirely different country and with different customs that I may be more familiar with. And then for the Native Americans who do not live on reservations, they still face a lot of the issues that many other Native Americans face every day that I may not face. And another issue that is sadly very prominent for Native Americans, and I do not know if counselors can address, is the issue with the reservations. Now, as stated previously, reservations are a sovereign nation. And many, if you are not of that tribe, you will basically do not have the same rights, less necessarily within the country, that Native Americans would have, and rightfully so. It is their own nation. With that being said, I obviously would not be able, as a counselor, I would not be able to counsel on reservation land, and I can experience that in my own job as an investigator for child abuse and neglect. We are not allowed on any reservations within the state of Missouri. So, sadly, because of this, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the theory behind reservations is good, and the U.S. government wanted to treat the Native Americans fairly and give them land to them. Unfortunately, many issues arise on reservations. According to the New York Times, the typical reservation has about 2.5 times the violent crime rate of the national average. And this ties back into what I was saying earlier about the lack of healthcare and education, because it is entirely a sovereign nation. They do not receive the same funding that other states and counties in the U.S. do, and at the same time, this is also through the choice of the tribal leaders. So it kind of creates a conflict where, on one hand, you obviously want to help, you also want to respect the wishes of the tribal leaders, and that really it really comes into question what should be done. And sadly, I don't think counselors can do a lot. Obviously, we have to help anyone we can and try, not necessarily try to relate to their struggles, because I don't think you can, but certainly try to empathize with them, and hopefully also encourage more Native Americans to go into counseling so they can go back and help anyone on the reservations who may be struggling. So those are my thoughts for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed my video.